Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Root Beer here, looking at question number 22 on our grade 7 Gauss paper. In a jar, there are 50 coins with a total value of $5. The coins are quarters, worth 25 cents or 0.25 of a dollar each, dimes worth 0.1 of a dollar, and nickels worth 0.05 of a dollar each. The number of nickels in the jar is 3 times the number of quarters. The number of dimes is 1 more than the number of nickels. How many quarters are in the jar? Okay, so we have a few unknowns here. The number of nickels, the number of quarters, and the number of dimes, but they are all related thanks to these last few sentences. So I would treat this like an algebra problem. Get a fresh sheet of paper. And then I would say something like, let n be the number of nickels, d the number of dimes, and q the number of quarters. Okay, so there we go, n, d, q, and then what are we told? Well, the number of nickels is 3 times the number of quarters. We create a mathematical expression for that English sentence. And the number of dimes is 1 more than the number of nickels. We have another expression here. Okay? So before I go further, I want to make sure I got that right. Number of quarters, or number of nickels is 3 times number of quarters. Number of dimes is 1 more than the number of nickels. Great. And then we're also told one other thing. $5 is actually, my mistake. We were actually told 2 other things. One, there's 50 coins in the bag. So that tells me the total. And then we're also told that $5 is the total of the money. And we know how much each quarter is worth, how much each dime is worth, and how much each nickel is worth. Now, one thing with this expression, I don't like decimals. I also don't like these dollars. So what I might do is just multiply by 100. Then I get rid of these decimals, and I can say 25 quarters. Basically, instead of measuring in dollars, I'm measuring in cents. Okay, and I find this to be just a nicer expression to work with. Okay, so what can we do here? Well, I know the number of nickels in terms of quarters, and I know the number of dimes in terms of nickels, so I should be able to get the number of dimes in terms of nickels. Or, not of nickels, quarters. Okay. And then what can we do? We could, now that we've got dimes in terms of quarters and nickels in terms of quarters, we could plug them all into this expression and say, well, 50 is nickels plus dimes plus quarters, but that's 3q plus 1 plus 3q, that's the number of dimes, plus q. And so that's going to be 7q plus 1, so 49 is 7q. And so q is going to be 7. There's 7 quarters. Now, I can't remember, what were we asked? Oh, we were just asked how many quarters in the jar. Huh. We didn't actually need this total value at all. I did not use this statement in the middle at all. This is kind of a distraction. But we managed to figure out the number of quarters automatically just by knowing that there were 50 coins in the jar. Yeah. Well, that's it. There was just some extra information. Well, that's okay. No harm, no foul. So our answer is going to be A, 7. That's the number of quarters, and we could continue on and figure out the number of nickels. There'll be 21 of those, and the number of dimes is going to be 8 of those. And I guess if we wanted to, we could double check that 25 times 7 plus 22 times 10 plus 21 times 5 really is 500. And I've got my calculator out, and I did that, and it really does all work out. But yeah, there were more equations than I needed. Fancy that. Okay, so up next will be question number 23. Feel free to join me for that. I would encourage you to try the question out ahead of time, but I'll see you in the next video for more of the Gauss.